Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Disclaimer. My mic on this video did not work. It wasn't even on. I didn't even know it. Excuse me. and John's worked fine. I turned them both on. We had them on. I had a green light. He has had a green light. They all matched up to my phone and everything. And an hour and 20 minutes later, I realized that my mic was off. So I am super, super distant. John is like really right there. Um, I wish I had a better explanation, but the audio sucks. It does suck. So if you're wearing earbuds, this is a warning. It's gonna get loud. I'm gonna sound super distant and quiet at sometimes, and John's gonna be like right there and loud. So bear with us. We're learning. I don't know what happened, but this is a part of growing and part of learning all this stuff. And I got about 2.5 hours of this video, so it's not this long. I'm gonna cut it up. So bear with us. If you like what you see, let us know. If you don't like what you see, you're gonna let us know. You're trolls. We get it. You're gonna say dumb shit. You'll probably get dumb shit in return. So I appreciate you guys. Thanks for sticking around and stay tuned. I think fine. Things are fine. Well, welcome to the channel.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Hold on. I need to get within our arm's reach.
We better just put this, if this is out of the view, and we'll keep this close. There we go. Get things real life here.
Oh man, what a fucking.
Yep.
I'd walk around more, but we've got a few things in our way. We'll show you here after a bit. We got a couple banshees, maybe
Couple, 2, 3 banshees.
two or three banshees in here. So, but anyway,
Here it
welcome to
is.
the channel. Here
it is.
I'm Sean.
John.
So he's pretty much known as Postman. I'm Festus McGrath. This is kind of a little get to know who's behind the camera, get to know who's behind the idea, I suppose. So we've kind of been brainstorming this idea for quite some time. We've always had the entrepreneur spirit of wanting to do something, wanting to be big, wanting to film. I've always wanted to film stuff. He's always wanted to be filmed doing stuff.
I'm just dumb.
We just like to do dumb things. We like to get it on camera, but we want to kind of make it something that we could have a lot of fun with, and hopefully do something bigger. So we started the channel because I feel we have pretty interesting lives for the most part. I mean,
I feel like
about the hobbies we have, the things we do, the friends we know. I mean,
got a lot of the right things. I think our problem is unlike most people, we're like the rest of the world of our idiot ideas are spontaneous combustion to where it's should have filmed that, but it's always
we don't always have
just happens.
That we were not disciplined enough to know
Correct.
That have a camera right now. Have a camera right now. That's where you see a lot of these streamers, a lot of these creators, they have like a designated camera guy that runs around with them. Where we're doing the stuff, and then it's seriously spur of the moment. Something happens, and everybody laughs, and it's over. It's done. There's there's no real proof of it. So we kind of want to start bringing you into our lives, so to speak.
And that's the problem. Like today, prime example, moved the school bus today. I was out jumping terraces in the school bus. I was by myself, but it was fun. I had the itch. I'm like, yeah, we're gonna do it.
That's the dumb things we do. We're very like when we're unsupervised. That's when a lot of dumb things happen. Like usually, my wife is like, "You're an unsupervised adult. Like, what are you gonna do?" It's like anything,
right? And I think our problem is too is we can't. It has to be spontaneous. You're like, okay, we're gonna set this up and do this. It always comes out dumb.
I can never do that. Like if you script to be funny, it's not funny to me.
100%.
Like
100%.
A lot of the stuff that we see, a lot of stuff we do, like you can't script the stuff. It just happens, and it's all organic. It's all just it happens, and then it's funny, and it depends on who's around. You got certain people who are around who are super just off the wall, and
you catch those lightning strikes. They don't happen often, but they do happen, and we were trying to capture that.
We need to
moment.
start catching the lightning
So-
strikes instead of talking about the lightning
Yeah,
strikes.
there's a lot of times where it's a lot of reminiscing about what we should have done different or what we could have attempted, or there's no real thought process. Now, when it comes to actual like videoing airboats and videoing the snowmobiles and stuff like that, definitely there's a plan. There's some sort of a structure, because we want to bring you some good, writing content, but we don't want to do dumb shit to hurt ourselves or wreck machines. Like, that's not what we're trying to do here. But
Yeah.
it might happen though. It'll probably happen.
I mean, you can't ever count it out.
No, there's so many humbling moments where you're like, damn, I don't want to be faster. Damn, I don't want to do this. And then you got people who are like, just like Genoa.
Yes.
That was our life for how many years?
I mean, you think about the crowds that would watch us
Oh,
do just climbing the lips and breaking the lips and jump. Oh,
That's
man.
what I mean. It's like, if you're local, Nebraska, Columbus, Headworks, that was life, man. That was like every weekend. Friday we'd go out Friday night, try and stay all the way to Sunday. Jamborees they're crazy for what was around here, but hill climbs, like there's crowds watching us in there, and I remember hearing people saying like, "What an idiot!" Like McCune.
Yes.
You'll meet this dude. This guy
cheetah.
I don't even know how to explain him. He is like, go, Bo, go. Like, that's all he hears. And he's got a Banshee he just got done up. That's super nice.
Super. It is clean.
He's one of those dudes that just did not care. No cares. No fucks given. Just
no.
And I remember he had a LTR 450 when LTRs were like still pretty new. Like they were like a year or two out, and he bought one. And I remember he was just launching it off this lip. It didn't launch up in the air, and if it didn't come down right, he'd bail. He'd just jump off of it, and the bike would like tumble.
Just huck it.
People just be like, what an idiot! It's like, I mean, I guess, but it's soft sand. It's not going to hurt. I mean,
you do the same thing with the Banshees.
Maybe ban a set of bars. Barely even did that.
Yeah. My Banshee got more banged up when it got launched out of the back of my pickup when it got T-boned than anything I ever did to it. But yeah, you just, this ain't going well, and you just toss it. We'll try again later. If it breaks, we'll fix it. Like, it was the mentality. Now you think about it, you're like, holy shit. Because we were taking every dime, penny, nickel we could scratch together to keep these things running, to put parts on them, to put fuel in them. Like, that was life for us, though. And when just like anything else, like.
And we had to have it wasn't like they were super tricked out.
Mm-mm.
They weren't tricked out. It was usually
no, they were strictly built for use.
Yeah, it was like pipe jetted, and then if something major happened, like something catastrophic, it was like, fuck. Like when my bike, I had a 05, when my 05 450 or 06, 05 450 blew up, I was devastated. I didn't have no money. I had no money for this thing to rebuild it, and I put the crank out of it, and that bike sat for a solid year and a half at a friend's shop until I sold a snowplow, got some money, and finally I was like, all right, we're gonna do crank, pour and polish, high compression piston, stage 2 cam. Like, I went completely nuts with it, and then
thing ran hard.
There's a lot of kick myself moments. The 86 250R should have
kept that one.
The 88 long rod should have kept that. My 05, I should have kept that. I've been through a lot of.
My main shoulda right now is I should have had this finished 2 years ago.
This should have been, yeah.
I'm really excited to see how this runs, but we'll see. The
2
old
years in the making.
The old custom port job by me.
This sledding thing is
exploded.
It's
exploded.
I can't think of the phrase. Escalated quickly.
Yes.
It did.
That's my problem. I have a problem.
Go all in.
It's
the all in method. It's okay.
I'll lay my hand right there. Let's go. I mean, you think about it. 2 years ago, it was like, I'd get back into sledding. That'd be fun. Was that 2 years ago?
$10,000 sled. Oh man, it's a $10,000 sled. 2 years later, he's in my office on the phone. Yeah, I'll take 2 of these and 1 of these.
Yeah.
And I was like, huh? What just happened?
Yep. So yeah, 2 years ago and 3 years, 20,
Yeah.
whatever fuck. I mean,
It was
doesn't real. I mean,
19.
yeah.
19. It was before. It was pre-COVID.
No, it couldn't have been 19. That'd be 20. Turbo sleds are out. It was 20.
It was 20 because
It was
the
COVID.
mid-years-
It was the COVID times. Yeah, 20. It was the winter of 20 because then I bought my
20 and a
18.
halves were out.
I bought my 18 and then 21, which was the following
Yep. Now we're at
that
22.
spring. I snow checked my 22 and then I snow checked my 23. So I've got 4 sleds and shit happens.
How'd we get here?
Well, I mean, if you really think about it, though, it started with the 03.
It did.
The 03 was kind of
that RMK. That
it was what happened is back in my high school days when I rode that 03 RMK was like that was it. Like
Hey, man,
if
that
that was
was
the king of the fucking mountain, it
Well,
really was.
I mean,
And
you think about it. That was peak 2003.
yeah,
You look at anything like that, like, and I know like Skidoo is having this big deal, like where the first Rev chassis came out. That's when like the world went upside down. And but like Polaris was still like, no, we're trailing arm.
but
We still got this.
who would have known? I show up to an auction and there's this snowmobile sitting here that brought back my like just the memories kind of thing. Like just dug up some shit. I'm like, man, if that thing goes cheap, like hell yeah. Well, then I brought it home, and then go figure, I hire a guy that's big into sledding. So then he's like, man, you should come with me.
We'll give credit to Bushwhack.
We'll give him.
We'll give him that credit because
Like,
that's the spark
that was a spark
really
that
just-
the spontaneous combustion
Yes.
that we speak about
Yes.
of has that thing. He's like, oh man, you should go to the
we're getting
mountains.
18 now.
Yeah, it was just like that. Boom. Like
Reset.
Reset.
So anyway, sledding.
We're gonna dive into the sledding
We're gonna get
because
into sledding. We're gonna get into something I'm still pretty green on.
The-
I'm learning a lot on the culture and the people, and for the longest time I balked at snowmobiling because we're in eastern Nebraska and it is flat. It is flat,
you can.
nothing.
Yeah, there's.
I thought it was the dumbest thing ever because like you're gonna spend all this money and you're gonna go ride it twice a year around here. And I eat crow for saying I eat my words for that. Like bad because I went because of him. And I was on a 15 RMK, which
It's
ran
no
great. It was a
slouch.
great-
I
it was a
mean,
great
it's
bike.
no slouch.
It was great. Sled, bike, I can't say bike. But it was great. It did awesome. I took some preliminaries. I changed the handlebars and took the sway bar off. It's still.
I mean, I will say,
somewhat-
like, your first time, and we've hit some spots. I'm like, you went through there? Okay.
I didn't know what to expect. The very first time I cracked the throttle on the thing, I about shit my pants. I'm not gonna lie. We were going up that pass, and once we got through Green Rock and then jumped on the road to head, it was like north.
we went through Libby Flats that time.
We
Yeah,
went
yeah.
a different way, and I remember we cracked into it. And the very first time I really leaned on it, I was like, "Holy shit, this has got a lot of power. I am in over my head." I thought for sure, I'm like, I'm going to WOD. I am going to wreck. This is going to be terrible. And I got so psyched up and so psyched out because it's like, I've been riding dirt bike for so long. This shouldn't be anything. And then in the back of my head, I'm like, you've never ridden on snow. Like, never ridden on snow, never ridden a snowmobile. What are you going to do? So then it was like completely green. And I'm watching these yahoos. And I'm like, oh, okay. Just do things.
There's no better way to get better than to ride with somebody better than you.
Oh, yeah.
And don't ever be afraid of that. Like, hey, dude, if you're going to lead, you're better than me.
Oh, yeah.
And be able to watch their body and where they position and what they do and how they throw and how they turn and how they, even listen to the throttle, like all of it. Like,
there's a lot to take in and there's a lot to just observe.
And-
Be observant while you're doing it.
and I think it goes
Things
to
will happen.
say, I'm sure you're in the same boat, maybe you're not, of every time you're in a situation where you're pissed, like why we get into ourselves in this situation? Why are we doing this? Why is holy shit, this sucks. As soon as you're out of it, that's all you talk about.
You're like, man, that was crazy.
That was
prime example.
Brian.
I was just gonna say the guy we ride with, Brian Whitehead. He's pretty green. He's got a Chaos 850, and his boy's got a Chaos 850 too. And talk about rider progression.
Yes,
those guys have Braden, especially little B Lee, has come a long way in a little bit that he's been riding. But I remember Brian, the very first day we went out, the snow was not the best.
it was junk.
It was junk. It was garbage. It was super hard packed. There wasn't anything really there, and it was pretty lackluster. And it kind of like, to me, and I know
if you're in bad snow, dude, it's off-putting.
You sensed it too. You even told me, you're like it was fun, but like I didn't have that like, wow, this is cool. Like I'm coming back. I was like, okay, cool. This is like whatever, you know.
But no, I sensed it for sure.
And those guys were kind of like, oh man, like kind of hoping and like watching Brian ride, and he was getting fucking hung off his sled. Like he would do the nothing little traverses, and he'd just block, like just topple over. I was like, what the hell is he doing? And he's like, oh, this thing. And I held back long enough till I couldn't hold back anymore, and I had to touch the suspension. I had to because
that was the limiting factor. At that point,
the suspension was set up really wrong for him, and it was super stiff, and the rebound and compression was all just. Once I got that dialed in, like I couldn't take it anymore because he was getting so frustrated that like we actually went to TNT and he was like wanting to trade his sled off.
Yeah.
He was that frustrated. He was like that mad.
Like, that was because everybody that he was riding with that day, he was riding with, was on Skidoos,
right?
And we were just
like it was effortless. You just leave. You just take your foot, like it was nothing. And he was on his Chaos, and it was fighting him.
Yes.
Everything he did, it didn't want to do. So the second day we went out, I didn't know Brian. This is my first time riding with Brian, Beely, Braden. Really, most of these people like I've never met. So I didn't want to be out of pocket with doing a lot of this stuff, but I couldn't do it anymore. So I started messing with the suspension, and it went from it was 180 degrees different. And then he hit points in his riding where he got mad. And he shot gaps, and he did this, and he was like, "Oh my god,
I can do that. I can do that."
Like,
that's the thing.
It was just like, boom, I got confidence. Okay, I can do this. And then like from that day, I remember from the first day he rolled that thing 3-4 times, five times maybe,
at least
till the second day he didn't.
But the second day helped because we had like 5 or 6 inches of powder. Nothing great, but it gave something to get off of that crust.
Right, which helped, and then we got.
But that's when remember, it was towards the end of the day.
Yeah.
We were tired.
We were up in the hills.
And we were up in the hills, and like, we're just going to follow this fire road. We got to do this. I knew we knew where we were at. It was just, there were some points where you had to do some technical stuff to get through.
Yeah.
And we were trying to find the easiest path because we knew everybody was tired, and we had a group with us.
Yeah.
And we were trying our best. And it was just, there was times where like, we got to hit this. Sorry, guys. And they were mad. But then as soon as we got down, it was like, oh man, we got it. That was great. Like oh man,
there were some frustrations for sure because
you sense it, you feel it, you hear it on the radio yelling,
fucking yelling at each other, and that's when like that instance you talk about where I went to the creek and didn't know it was a creek. I went in, thought it was like it just looked like a nice little turnaround spot. So I went in with this RK, it was a 154 or 155, whatever, and. I'm just like, make the turn. And I could see snow bike trails. So I'm like, oh, somebody's been through here. It's no big deal. And then I made the round, and I start trying to climb my way out, and I noticed the rear track starting to kind of go down. I'm like, so I just instinct of just squeeze as hard as I can on the throttle and just.
Oh, it was evident that you did.
Let it park. Just let it park. It was just, on
the pipe.
I did not lift till I was at least 20 feet from wherever that was, because I was at one point, all I know is I was like I was up here on the bars, and it was just like, and I was like, okay, and then we got out of it. I'm like, okay, I made it. Oh, this is so bad. And then I look back and I'm like, it looks deep, but I don't know what's back there. I wouldn't go.
Running water is what was back there.
Running water. Like I don't know how I. So that gave me a lot of confidence that just
This
Squeeze it.
throttle is your
squeeze
friend.
it and use your body.
It is the very, very, very much the same as airboating. No throttle, no input. No throttle, no turn.
That's
No
true.
throttle, no steering. No throttle, no all of it. Like,
Yeah,
I mean, you take it and you're on a side hill and you're in it and you just roll off the throttle to you think you're gonna roll off the stop. What happens? You go down the hill where you literally and then brake and then set it.
yeah, you gotta. Oh man, there's so much learning. So yeah, I learned really well. Like, okay, here's some baby steps to getting where I need to go.
You're yet to have like a really, really
I haven't had
good powder day.
I haven't had good snow. I've never been under good snow. He's been on
This weekend, this upcoming weekend is going to be a good powder weekend. They're getting hammered as we speak. I'm so excited.
Here and it's snowing out in the hills. I can't make it.
The excitement is every day now. I'm 4 days away. Like I know. Like I got home tonight. I'm like, you bet. Thursday, I'm on my way.
We're leaving.
Try out my new Gen 5.
Yeah.
I'm fucking excited.
That looks cool. And then like the following year, so we went.
Yeah.
So in 1 year, the very first year I went, I was on a 15. You were on your 18.
Yeah.
And then the second year you went with your turbo. And then I was on your 18. And I kind of bounced around on a couple other things. I was on a Lynx. Then I was on that 154 Expert.
Mm-hmm.
Which, so that was like...
Again, on shit snow, right, 154 Experts, like that's where it's at. That was
awesome. Like, but you were on 4 inches to 6 inches of like powder snow on a 154 Expert. You can go anywhere you want.
Oh,
and it was perfect.
It's a lot easier to manage than a 165, right. 100%.
And then, that Lynx, like the drawback to the Lynx for me was like it's a deep powder sled, and when you're in an area where there's no powder, it fights you. I felt like it.
Oh, it does.
You got a big wide ski and you're trying to break a crust and you're just like, oh my god, this is terrible, and it's fighting you and you're like, man, how's this thing gonna be? But then you hit whoops and you're like, okay, I get this.
The suspension is
this thing's sick.
Unreal.
The Lynx are like they got that dial like.
You're like, oh, whoops, where were they at?
And like it's like, oh.
You're on anything else, you're like this is fun. Yeah. Oh my god.
That was on that Polaris. I was just like,
yeah.
No, I like the Lynx. I love their suspension. I didn't like it in like shallow snow, but that's because it's not made for shallow snow. It's not like a trail sled, you know.
The suspension is trail-ish, but the rest of the sled is powder. It's tough. I mean, that's even like with mine. I mean, my 22 and now my 23. I mean, you get on, if there's no powder, you're just like, oh, I'm here, I'm riding, I'm having fun.
You're gonna make it best.
You're gonna make the best of it. But you mean, when I rode that big dumper up in Wyoming, what was that, 2 years? Yeah, 2 years ago? I would spend the rest of my life chasing a storm like that. It was absolutely incredible. Like we went to the Snowies because that's where it was hitting, and we tried to get off the trail, and the powder was so deep that I was on a turbo sled.
Right.
I was on Mark's turbo sled, and I couldn't, like, it would just to nothing. I mean, I tried to climb Practice Hill, like the glacier, whatever you want to call it, and I made it halfway up, and I disappeared. Like I just into powder. Like I couldn't even, so I had to turn around and come back out, and it was light again. We spent the whole day riding the circle, the NNOO loop. Never left the trail. We were still in at least 4 foot of powder, having a blast. Never left the trail, and we burnt. We came back on the fuel line. Like it was one of those things where we're at the point where, luckily, I brought fuel that day on my 18. Like if one of us has to go back to the trailer, like we were on the ragged edge of, are we making it back or not?
Man,
it was absolutely incredible because the whole time you're just, nah! I mean, you're on a trail, so you're wide open. It was just like Carbon Meadows all day long. Like it's one of those things where in the video, Carbon Meadows, you're like, I've seen it, it's great. But when you're doing it, there's just nothing like it. You're like, this is. But when you see the video, everybody's like, I've seen the video a million times, you know. But again, any rider sees a big open powder meadow Any rider's
It's
like,
oh,
yeah, we're doing it, and you're gonna go carve it. But that's what all the videos are of. I get it. I get it.
and that's where I kind of want to like with hair. I have there's a vision I have of like some of the stuff I want to get. Like I want to like there's some different footage I want to try to get, as to kind of bring it more like to a person who doesn't know the snowmobiles or who does know the snowmobiles, but like they strive to try and it's hard to get a lot of angles and see like how steep stuff is and how the ride, like I know like things have changed a lot in the last 2 years on the equipment and things like that, but there's things like I'm constantly trying to watch other people shooting and how they're doing stuff, and I'm like, okay, this gives me an idea to try this. So like I want to like in case how there's a vision I have, and it's hard to explain it. Like I want it to be where you can watch it and you understand like the level of skill, the level of like this is deep, this is steep. These machines are crazy. Like
well, that and you're gonna. I mean, nothing against it. I mean, it's not even trying to talk bad about it. Nothing against it. Of almost all the videos that you see are of really good riders. Like
I think my mic's been off for a little bit.
badass riders.
This is good. Mine probably been off for a minute. It's all right.
But yeah, no, all the videos you see are of these badass riders, and nothing against it. But there's not a whole lot of videos of hacks like us.
No,
We can get to places, but I'm no brand.
we're not experts.
We're not experts by any mean, and kind of get the perspective of what it's like to suck. I mean,
And that's the thing is like we're gonna have those instances.
but in
where
the
we're gonna
same
be like,
note,
"Damn
in
it."
progression of videos, I think not only us are going to see it, but I think the viewers are going to see
like
the progression of, and these guys are night and day from last ride.
They started
4 rides
here
ago, or
and
last year.
now look at them.
I look at
stuff.
I look at when I started back into this whole thing back in 20 of on a 13 RMK, and I couldn't stay on the son of a bitch, and I was always pissed. And that was the first day. And the second day, Mark's like, dude, just read my expert, read my 20 expert. And it was like opening a whole new world to me.
Right.
Of holy shit, like technology. I mean, 7 years is a lot, really it is, but the technology has changed. And it made me like, but compared to my first day back on it, again, it was in my head because like, holy shit, here I go. Same kind of thing. Then the second day, I'm on a new sled. And I've got a little bit of yesterday's frustration out. Yesterday's altitude sickness, because it's one of those things where you don't realize what it's going to do, and it's one of those you got to realize that hydration, and when you hit North Platte, it's your job to drink water. I don't care how many times
start drinking water.
It's your job to drink water. Otherwise, you can't get on top of it.
You gotta drink a lot of water.
Learning that, I mean, I drank 2 pitchers of water at the restaurant that night. They thought I was. I mean, they had to think I was on X or something like that because I was just like, I mean, it was just trying to get
hydration, trying to get your brain fucking normal.
And then that second day, I was like, holy shit, I'm climbing shit, I'm weaving through the trees, I'm doing things that the day before, and then that next day, I'm riding with guides. Like, dude, come out. I mean that right there it put me in a really, really good spot to like, it went from this is a lot of fun to I'm hooked. I'm hooked.
This is what I want to do.
Fuck, why do I got to spend so much money all the time?
See, I'm the opposite. I am into this sport because I don't have anything. I have riding gear, and that is it.
You got a sled. Let's be real. You got a sled.
No, I've got his sled, but like the sleds are like, it's all him. They're all his. Like Jason's, like they're joking around talking about this timber sled they just bought, and they're just like, oh, well, you're riding that. It's like, well, I haven't paid dues, like really to do any of this stuff. Like I've just been in a good place with good people to like, oh yeah, he likes to have fun. Let's go. And then like spurring this whole channel to like showcase, what Jason's got going on and what we got going on. And like, we're just trying to, we're going to have some awesome people on the channel that are just really going to have
I really hope it gives you an idea of like the passion we have. Like we're gonna have more people on the channel that are very passionate about motocross. We're gonna have Crowfoot on. Crowfoot was texting me today. The dude texts me about every day, and he wants to talk about, oh man, keep grinding, keep pushing, and I'm just like, yeah, there's days where it's easy to quit and easy to fucking throw away stuff.
It's always easy to quit.
But like he sent me a picture today, and it was like I had one sweatshirt and 2 shirts, and that's what I started out with. And I'm like, fuck, man, you're right. Like, can't change the world overnight, I suppose. But I'm like,
no, you can't.
There's sticker designs I've made, and the first rendition of our Broth Life sweatshirts that they're okay. They worked. They're comfortable.
They're comfy.
They're super comfy. So we're gonna probably get some more merch out. But yeah, the sledding thing is just, my wife doesn't quite understand it. She understands it because I have a passion for motorsports. Like, I don't watch football. I don't watch baseball. Like, I'll watch college ball. My wife loves it when I talk about football. There's times I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm trying, but like, I could be completely wrong because growing up, I was not into that stuff. I was into combustion engines. Yep. I was into go-karts, dirt bikes, quads, whatever was fast.
Lawnmowers.
Oh, lawnmowers. Like,
it didn't matter.
Yeah, it didn't matter what it was. It's like, if it was fast enough to do something stupid on, we'd still do it. Like, it didn't matter. Like, oh, who could ride the wheelie across the parking lot? Oh, apparently that's Doug's hidden talent. Is he
right?
Ride a snap. He could wheelie a snap-on mower 50 yards. Who would have thought? It's 6'5".
It's still leverage. I'm gonna go with it's still leverage.
He was throwing his hand back, so he had it on us. Go with that. But that's the man. Like, if you look at all of our friends and their talents they've had, it's like, what the hell? We're our own Nitro Circus, like our own X Games.
Not to that extreme. I'm gonna say
we're like extreme. The backflip and stuff. Like, we just there's times where we shock ourselves with our friends because we're like, God damn.
Did you see that?
Like, how? And this is like, we've been doing this for as long as we can.
Yeah.
As long as we can pay for it. And that's why we want to try and bring people in. Like, I so bad want McCune on a sled. I know it could go 50-50.
McCune wants to be on a sled, but McCune knows. McCune's the same kind of person I am.
You guys have type A. You're that just, okay, I'm going to go out. The next thing you know, there's going to be a brand new sled. Like, you're 23, you could probably end up in his shop.
Probably.
You get him out on a sled once on a good snow. It's kind of funny because the group of friends we have, like, there's different. You have the tiers. Your different tier of riders, or different tier of friends. Where I'd like to think of us now, we're pretty serious in it. Like, I'm not saying like 3 sleds is not serious, but like serious to the point where it's like you've invested so much of your money into it. Where some of our other buddies, they're just happy with like a $4,000 machine, and they're like tickled about it.
And that's one of those, again, my problem of I'm not trying to be the fastest. I'm not trying to have the nicest, but I want to have the current. We'll call it that. You
technology
know what I mean?
And just
I want to try to have at least the technology there. I learned a long time, like, there was a point in my life where with my Rhino and a few other things where I was trying to be like, my Rhino ripped, but I had a lot of money in it and it lasted this long.
Yeah.
And it was just like, I don't have the bankroll to afford to keep being the fastest. So I'm gonna take a step back, and I want to try to have nice things, but I'm not trying to be the fastest.
Right.
I'm trying to have the nicest because no matter how fast you are or how badass a rig you have, I found out way early in life there'd be some dude that rolls in that's going to just one-up the fuck out of you. And you'd be like, okay.
I'm somebody back home, but I'm nobody.
Right. So then I figured out that you're like, fuck it. Just be happy figure out your level and be happy at that level and just go have fun.
Yeah.
Because that's
the grand scheme. Like,
would I
mean,
love to have like roll up to the mountains in this fucking like
oh,
badass
big
Pete
Logan
fucking
coach and all this
just
stuff? Hell yeah.
sweet hauler and all done up and would I? Yeah. Will I? No. I'm pretty sweet with the 09 legend sitting next to me here.
Yeah.
And
09 legend, and we got, I mean,
granted,
pretty damn fortunate to have Jason.
And be where that's at, which we're lucky there. I mean, I'm lucky. We're lucky there that he's a good friend and
the dude. He's kind of on the same page.
He's one of the same fabric, you know, where he has the passion for motorsports probably more than us, honestly, for the fact that he created a business out of it.
Yeah, and he's constantly evolving the business to the newest, latest parts. You know, he's the guy in back making the parts work. He's the guy designing the parts. He's the guy when a Pro R comes out. Oh, the guy is just like Rain Man when it comes.
But also has
but
when he's on the mountain, there's
it's like
full send.
Yeah,